You are grinding on a goal that died months ago. The discipline you are proud of is what keeps you chained to its corpse. You tell yourself you will push through because you always do. That is the virtue. But there is a version of pushing through that is really just fear wearing the costume of discipline. We need to tell them apart before one of them costs you a decade. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire. His rule: if it is not right, do not do it. Look at your life. You keep doing what is no longer right, calling it strength. He would call that confusing motion with virtue. The problem is, you built your entire identity around not being the guy who quits. That persona worked for you in the past, but now you cannot tell the difference between a goal worth suffering for and a deadweight you are dragging out of pure pride. Without a way to objectively evaluate what you are fighting for, the very discipline you rely on becomes a trap. This trap has a timeline. Most failures of endurance actually begin years before things get hard. They start the moment you lock onto a path, before you have enough data to choose well. This diagram illustrates a mathematical concept called the optimal stopping problem. It dictates that if you have a series of options and you cannot go back, you should spend the first 37% of your choices strictly looking. You explore, you learn, and you refuse to commit until you have mapped the territory. But look at how we actually live. Most people choose a career, an identity, or a financial path long before they have seen even 10% of the world. They take the first road that opens, or the one that feels safe to name at a dinner party. The developmental psychologist Alison Gopnik describes children as lanterns, casting a wide beam of attention across everything. Adults act like spotlights, narrowing hard onto a single point. We stop looking around, and in our rush to specialize, we miss the brilliant solutions sitting just outside the beam. So ask yourself honestly, did you carefully choose your lane, or did you just stop looking and call that stopping commitment? Once you stop looking, a specific psychological engine kicks in to keep you there. It is called the sunk cost fallacy. It is the instinct that the money, time, and effort you already spent should dictate what you do next, when in cold reason, they should decide nothing at all. Your mind does not treat a lost investment as neutral data. It treats it as an accusation. Admitting a path is dead means standing up in the courtroom of your own head and admitting you misjudged. To avoid that trial, you escalate your commitment. You throw more years at the failure to prove the first choice was rational. The pressure multiplies when other people are watching. Researchers call this vicarious entrapment. You keep a failing business open, or stay in the wrong career, because backing out in front of an audience feels like a public confession. Look at this data tracking cortisol, the stress hormone, over time. The psychologist Charles Wrosch spent years studying people who could not let go of unreachable goals. The data shows their bodies stayed lit up, chronically, tracing a jagged red line of stress that never switched off. They were physically at war with a goal their reason had already lost. The people who could actually release the dead weight showed normal, healthy cortisol rhythms. Letting go was not surrender. It was the nervous system finally being allowed to stand down. Grinding away on a failed goal does not protect your future. It's a psychologically and biologically destructive defense of a past that's already gone. The discipline you have been practicing, the push-through-everything mindset, is only half a discipline. It is the easy half. Anyone terrified of looking weak can put their head down and grind. That takes zero judgment. The hard half, the half that separates a strong person from a stubborn one, is the ability to look at a thing you have poured years into and state clearly, without self-hatred, that it is finished. To do this, you have to drag the decision out of your ego and into cold reason. You run the fresh start test. Forget everything you already spent. If you woke up tomorrow with no history in this thing, no money in it, and no story told about it, would you willingly sign up for it today at its current price? If the answer is no, the only thing holding you is a ghost. The philosopher Epictetus opened with one cut. Some things are up to you, some are not. Your next choice is up to you. Unrecoverable time and spent money are not. Pouring your finite life into that column isn't discipline. It's being robbed by pride. True strength is the clean, deliberate act of setting a dead thing down. Do not choose to suffer endlessly in your imagination. just to avoid a brief afternoon of real shame. Quitting without redirection is just drift. Quitting with aim is strategy. The goal is not to become a person who just gives up. The goal is to move that fierce energy onto a new target that can actually be won. You only have a finite amount of fight in you. You have to decide whether you will spend it guarding a corpse or start spending it building something alive. So right now, name the goal. Name the specific thing you are only still chasing because of what you already spent. Sit with it. Discipline is never just blind stubbornness. It is having the cold judgment to finally walk away from a dead road.